So we discussed at length how Hashem allocates abundance, sustenance, beneficence, blessings, shefa, bracha, chesed. It's called chesed, kindness. Kindness is the act of giving. Hashem is giving us allowance for the year. We have terms with Hashem. The terms are a year term. And during this term, Hashem commits to provide and supply. And the way it works is first like, what's going to be the annual allowance for the universe? For the universe, global, it's very global. Creation in general works and worked in a way of klal, global, general, and then prat, detail. Reishis bara Elokim, at the beginning God created et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, the upper creatures and the lower creatures. Shamayim ve'kol tzva'eya ve'haaretz ve'kol tzva'eya. It includes all the creatures. So really, Bereshit bara Elokim is ma'amar klali, that includes all the 10 ma'amarot. And then Hashem was mefaret, he detailed, he specified every day. Yom Rishon, Yom Echad, Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, etc., etc. Okay? Same thing, Aseret Adibras, the 10 Commandments. Right? Anoichi, I am your God. I am your God implies that you're not allowed to have any other gods. And whatever I tell you to do, you're going to have to observe and do. So that really, Anoichi really is, like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya, Anoichi v'lehi alecha is klalus kol haTorah kula. That includes all the mitzvahs aseh and the mitzvahs lo ta'aseh, the positive commandments and the negative commandments. But then Hashem actually gave the specific commandments. So everything works in a way of klal uprat. So at Rosh Hashanah, everything is in the klal, in the global. It's the head. Just like we're learning in these days Tanya, in chapter 51, 52, and 53, that even though God is omnipresent everywhere, there's a difference in the presence of God in the sanctuary, in the temple, in the Kodesh HaKodashim, where was the highest level of revelation of Shekhinah, to the revelation of Shekhinah there is of the presence of God that is revealed in any other place in the world. Just like in the body, there's a difference between the level of energy that the head contains to the level of energy that any other part of the body contains. Even though the soul is only present in the entire body. There's not one part of the body that does not have a part of the soul. But you can't compare. Why? Because the head, not only it's the most energetic and more lively part of the body, it contains in it, includes in it, all of the commands for the rest of the body. So Rosh Hashanah is the head, and Hashem gives the global, general, klal allowance for the year. How is this going to apply? How is this going to be allocated? We're very, very, very far from that point right now. But it's very important. It's crucial. Because this is going to assess the mass, the gross mass of whatever allowance Hashem is going to give to the universe, to the world. From there, we have to work our way down to bring it and allocate it to the right place. But that's what happens Rosh Hashanah. From Rosh Hashanah till Yom Kippur, this massive, gross allowance of kindness for the universe, for the world, is being processed. Until the moment of Ne'ilah comes, and Ne'ilah means seal. And what happens at this time? We came up with this amazing, fascinating thing, that this is the moment of the highest revelation of mercy from Hashem, because this is where He's giving everything to us. And there's absolutely no way for any opposition to interfere in the process right now. Ne'ilah is yechida leyachda. We are on our own with God. What happens at this time? It says it's the moment where Hashem reveals the 5 level of severities, the Chamisha Gvurot, right? And we ask, what's the connection? What does it have to do with Ne'ilah? Ne'ilah is a time of extreme mercy. What was the answer?
to us that you're not going to have chesed without Gvura.
Yeah.
It has to be funneled to you.
Funneled, that's the word. The Chamisha Gvurot are the channel, the funnel to a conduit.
Ah,
A conduit.
that's a great word.
In order to, so here's what the Chamisha Gvurot do. Ne'ilah. But when you seal something, you're doing two things. You're narrowing it down in order to hit a destination. You need to allocate it. You cannot, if it's widely open, it has no way to attain any final destination, specific destination. So Ne'ilah first narrows it down. We're alone with Hashem. It's the end, it's the closure, it's the closing. But then also it's a seal. A seal, you make sure it doesn't spill. When you seal it, you make sure it doesn't spill. So it does two things. The first thing we learned is that it would attain its final destination. And the second thing that we're about to start learning more in detail in Mama Yutes is that the Ne'ilah protects the extraordinary amount of abundance that Hashem has finally given to us. By Ne'ilah, it protects it, it preserves it from being accessible to the Kochot HaChitzonim, to any, how would you say this? Any vandalizers, looters. What is the klipa? What is evil? Evil is like a parasite. A parasite can only live from something else. It needs to suck onto something else in order to live. Klipa, we explained so much at length. I don't know how much of it is recorded, but like the beginning of Kuntres is so much into what is the existence of klipa to begin with. Like we're dealing with a problem. I have a Yetzer Hara. Who even allowed? Who even enabled that Yetzer Hara to be? What is it? Who gives it? Who empowers it? Who feeds it? So we went through the whole thing. And then we explained that really it doesn't have its own existence. It's being fed because it's arrogant. And it comes into the space of Kedusha whenever there is any type of opening in the Kedusha, and it takes it and it sucks out whatever it can from there. So klipa is a chutzpah, is arrogance, and also it's capable of taking much more. We had this conversation about doing business honestly or cheating. When a person does business and cheats in business, not in an honest way, very quickly he can see massive results because it's always faster because you're more arrogant and you're cheating. You're going where you're not supposed to be taking from. Right? But eventually it will stop, and we say Vizbara Bilva. We explain the whole structure of what the klipa is. So Ne'ilah is the seal to make sure that no one has access. Similar to Ne'ilah is Shmini Atzeres. Because in Chassidut we learned that just like we have Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that's why we have Sukkot and Shmini Atzeret. It's the same holiday. Tiku b'chodesh shofar b'kesel yom chagenu. You blow the shofar and you have the seal of the judgment on Yom Kippur. Then the other half of the month, from the 1st to the 10th, you have one part, and then from 15th to the end of the month, the second part of the month, it's the revelation. What's the revelation? You have Simcha in the Sukkah, Zman Simchatenu. The joy of all the accumulation of work you have done since Rosh Hashanah. But then comes Shmini Atzeret. You're not even in the Sukkah, no longer in the Sukkah. But what do? Atzeret, Atzor. It's like Ne'ilah. Stop. You put a seal. And what happens? Par echad, ayil echad, keves echad. Only one. Keneged Bnei Yisrael. And Hashem says today, the last time, Igvu ala yoyim echad. I want to party just with you. Boi v'negalgel ani ve'ata. I want to party just me and you. And then what do? We dance. How is the dancing of Shmini Atzeret called? Not the Nova Festival. It's called? The dancing of Hakafot. Hakafot. What is Hakafot? What's Hakafot? Circles. Because we dance in circles. And what do we say when we dance in circle? We say psukim, and then we say, Ad kan Hakaf Aleph. Why do you need to say Ad kan Hakaf Aleph? Because if you don't put a seal and a stop to the powerful divine energy that shines on the day of Shmini Atzeres, it's makif. Makif is open. Makif means it's surrounding. It's out there. It's in the air. It's not penetrating. It's not pnimi. So if you don't put a seal to the akafa, the koichos achitzoinim, forces of evil, will come and draw out energy from the air. That's why even on Shmini Atzeres, even on Simchas Torah, when we're so happy and Simcha Poiretz Geder, and we dance with the Torah, nevertheless, we have to be careful and say the akafa and say, Ad kan akafa aleph. Ad kan akafa beis. So that's why the Rebbe many times said that the climax of Simchas Torah is after you return the Torah into the Aron Kodesh, and you finish all the akafas, and you don't have the Torah anymore, and you finished even the obligation of doing the traditional dancing of Shmini Atzeres Simchas Torah, which itself is not written in the Torah to do akafas, right? You finish doing the now it's time to go home. And what do? Because it's the day of Zman Simchatenu, because it's Simchat Torah, what do? You stay in shul and you dance. Guess what? That's higher than all the akafot. Because there's no more chitzonim. There's no one has access to that level of joy that you're expressing and manifesting right now. Okay? But, going back to what we're learning, Ne'ilah seals it, first of all, in order to, give it the stamp, that's your destination. It's like posting something. Okay? And, when we do mass mailing, there's one idea, we're sending 100,000 checks to wherever it is. We're sending 100,000 invitations. Now, get the addresses, make sure they're correct, and then each envelope gets a specific different address, and then you have to stamp it. So it's the same thing. Ne'ilah is it's ready to go. It's sealed, it has a stamp, and it has a destination, it has an address. Now, Perek Yutes, Mamar Yutes, sorry, Perek Aleph. Vehine, Achotam Dine'ilah de Yom HaKippurim, the seal that happens during Ne'ilah of Yom HaKippurim, Hine milvad zot, שעניינו הוא שהשפע הכללי שנמשך בספירת המלכות יגיע למקום הראוי לכל אחד בפרט. Besides, in addition to ensuring that it will be sealed with the proper address in order for it to arrive at the right destination to each individual, there's another purpose in the seal of Ne'ilah. הוא השמירה כללית. It's a general protection שלא תהיה יניקת החיצונים, that the forces of evil should not be able to draw energy מהחסד הנמשך from the tremendous amount of kindness that God is revealing. וכמו חותם שמניחים על איגרת, just like a seal that you stamp on a letter. What's the purpose of the seal? ובכדי שלא יקרא נזר, that a stranger should not open the letter and read it. It's sealed. It's becoming inaccessible. וכמו כן, הוא עניין החותם למעלה. Same is regarding the seal that Hashem is giving on the Ne'ilah. שלא ינקו החיצונים מההשפעה, that the חיצונים, that the forces of evil should not be able to draw from there. והיינו, what makes the seal? The seal, you wrote this personal letter, this personal note. You're rolling it. It's anyone who reads this message will be like, oh my God, like top secret information. So imagine you have this special letter addressed with a unique message and a code and whatever it is and an amazing message. And then comes a moment before you hand it over to the messenger, you have to seal the letter. What happens at the moment? You're actually, you're pouring the wax. Very good, very good. You can be more, explain. And you seal it. At that moment, can anyone read the letter?
Before you seal it? Yeah. Exactly.
No, once it's sealed. So the seal itself feels awkward. Why are you doing this? You're wrapping a gift. You can't open it anymore. I want to see it again. Can't. Until he gets to the person. If you're not there when he opens it, you're not going to be able to see what the thing looks like. Sometimes I order a gift, and I tell the store, can you send me a picture before you wrap it? I want to see how it looks like. Because you're going to wrap it, you're going to ship it, it's going to get to the destination. I've never seen what it looks like. So the act of sealing it itself is an act of gvura. It's a seal. It's actually very, very unpleasant. But what? דהיינו על ידי החמישה גבורה is the atik. It's gvura. It's a kind of discipline and severity. שמקבלת אז בבחינת המלכות. That malchus right now is being hit. Here it says malchut is receiving the gvura. But I would say malchut is being hit by the seal. You're pouring wax and sealing it. שבהם ועל ידם נמשך התחלקות החסד. But this is how you're going to make sure that the letter gets to the destination and that the message gets properly to the right person and that, God willing, whatever message is in there should be fulfilled. But if you leave it open and everybody has access to it, it will never accomplish its purpose. So you're sealing, you're doing something which is rough, which is severe, but in order to get it to where it needs to get. That's the chesed elyon. You're dividing and separating the kindness in order to bring it to its destination, that it should reach כל הנבראים, דעולמות בריאה, יצירה, עשייה, המקבלים מבחינת מלכות דאצילות. וזהו מה שאמרו רבותינו זיכרונם לברכה. This is what we learned. דמזוינויסיו של אדם קצובים לו מראש השנה. עד יום הכיפורים. Remember we had this discussion in the beginning? First we said Hashem decides everything in Rosh Hashanah. Then we said that mezoneisav shel adam, the food, the sustenance for a person for the whole year is being allocated, is being decided from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. Now we understand what it means. It's not the actual basket of groceries that you're buying every week that has been like 2 pounds of this, 100 pounds of meat, this amount of eggs and milk. No, he's not talking about that right now. It's how much allowance, how much potential, how much buying power, or how much merit power is he giving you? Is it going to be a year where you will optimize and maximize your opportunities or not? That's also allowance that Hashem gives. It's not only money, it's not only food. It's you being able to accomplish something. That's also an allowance. So, וזהו שאמרו, רבותינו זיכרונם לברכה, דמזונותיו של אדם קצובים לו מראש השנה עד יום הכיפורים. היינו, שעל ידי 5 גבורות נמשך הקצבה שהוא כמה יומשך החסד עליון לכל אדם בפרט. The 5 גבורות is like how much of it for each person. Hashem made an announcement, just like the president who says we're signing the bill of $50 billion for healthcare. Who's getting that money? No one knows. The president himself doesn't know. He was told to sign and to repeat. But the breaking news is that there's a new bill for healthcare that is going to allocate $50 billion for the next 25 years. Which means we're all getting $5. No, I'm just kidding. Like, sometimes. Yeah. No, when they say like the huge amount, and you're like, for the next 9 years until it's going to. There's nothing happening. But the point is, first you announce the bill, meaning the Federal Reserve allocates a budget. Then it's being signed. Then we're saying every state's going to get according to population and the ratio of the needs. And then every every representative and every councilman will vouch for its district to make sure that they get part of it. And then the mayor and this and then eventually someone will get a check in the mail of some kind of bonus or in their bank account. And then they're able to buy something if they can go to the store. You see how many steps it takes? So the Gvura is saying, is the commissioner. Okay? $50 billion? How much for Nevada? Oh, Nevada? How much do they need? What do they need? Justify it. Explain it. Prove it. But that, very severe. It's very strict. But that is what will make sure that everyone will get what they need. So that's the ultimate chesed. Because before the Gvura of Neila, the chesed was all global for all the worlds, the spiritual worlds included. The seal of Neila does the two at once. Number one is not one foreigner, not one stranger, ish zar, should not approach and take what does not belong to him, what's not allocated for him. So, in government structure is making sure that there is no fraud, there's no abuse on the 50 billion. That's the hardest thing. Security. Security is absolute gvura. Guess what? This is what leads to the ultimate chesed. If no security, there's no safety, there's no protection, there's chaos. We see it every single day. And if only people could understand how necessary and balanced they are, the two, they would have never opposed all those rules that keep our streets safe. Because of the abuse of power that there has been, so now we want to destroy power. But you need authority.
Who wants to destroy power?
The people, it comes from a good, like, we don't want to bring any restrictions because I don't want to tell my kids no. You're hurting them. Yeah. But the reason I don't want to tell my kids no is because for too long, someone said only no to the kids. So now we are the disease, the consequence, the result of the constant no is like, I'm going to say only yes to me. I will never say no. And that's also a mistake.
Big mistake.
So, number one, the seal ensures that it gets, that no stranger has access to it. And second, ואשר יומשך למוקם הראוי ונותן קצבה שיתחלק ויומשך לכל נברא ולכל אדם בדרך פרט. And then it's making sure that whatever is needed for every specific creature, according to its current need or potential, will be allocated. And guess what? It says here that the seal does two at once. But that is what a seal is. It preserves, it protects from any others to steal, in order to make sure that it gets to where it needs to get. Right? That's the idea, by the way, of tznius. Think about what's tznius? Modesty. Modesty means not everything that's good and great needs to be all exhibited and shown. Because it's so precious and it's unique, so you're protecting it from eyesight. There's bracha. Anything that is hidden from the eye is blessed. The more it's precious, the less you want it to be seen. And even when you open it, you have to be very careful. So that's what the seal does. Now, how do we get from the moment it's been sealed by the commissioner? How do I make sure that by me, that will actually apply to me? I'll be part of the program. How do I make sure that I'll receive the check? That I'll get the bonuses? That I'll get the allowance? That will be next week, B'ezrat Hashem. We're going to find out what needs to be done after Ne'ilah. We know that the Rebbe Rashab told his son, the Frierdiker Rebbe, when he asked him, what's now? After Yom Kippur. He said, now? Itzter darf man erst tshuvaton. Now we need to start doing tshuva. So once you reach post Ne'ilah, this is when the real game starts. So when we need to daven every day to make sure it actually gets to its destination. And sometimes God sends a tracking link to track your package, so you can see every step where it's holding. and he will send you a picture when it was delivered. But all of that might be a distraction because it's not bringing your package faster. Instead, just focus on creating space to receive more packages and have the ability to open them and manage them and use them and spread them and share them. L'chaim.